Let's talk about repetitions. When are repetitions good and when are they bad? Because sometimes repetitions are really good if you're trying to confirm your ideas, so if you're trying to strengthen, to emphasize, to underscore your ideas. But repetitions can be also bad if you don't have any other words. If you keep repeating the same words, and if you don't work on expanding your vocabulary and using more synonyms, then your repetitions become obvious and the writing becomes dull. Dull because you keep using the same words and you're not showing different patterns, different shadows of what is actually going on. Whenever you work with verbs, always check, is there a synonym of this verb? Any verb you take, always check the synonyms, and if you find a better synonym, use it. Because a lot of verbs are overused. For example, say, come, get. You know, whenever you describe a dialogue, what actually happened in a story, very often, especially non-native speakers, will write something like, oh, and I said, and then my sister said, and then we all said, and then they said, and this is when my boss said.
And she said, I said, oh my goodness.
Instead, you can say, or you can write something like, well, I said this, and then he replied, and then my boss informed us, and we answered, and or somebody exaggerated, or someone exclaimed. There are so many other versions of the verb say, tell, speak, talk. Use them as well. They kind of sound the same, but they're all very different. Use them more.
Okay, let's talk.
Look at your emails, look at your writing. If you notice that you tend to repeat the same words and you notice that you've been using this word a lot, go to thesaurus.com, go to Merriam-Webster, go to VisuWords and find more synonyms. However, repetitions can be also good. When I say repetitions, I mean two things. Number one is parallel constructions, when you repeat the same construction. An example would be, I often say, people remember what they understand. People understand what they can easily imagine. People imagine something they can taste, they can touch, they can smell, they can see. So these are three parallel constructions, and I want to repeat that construction because I want you to follow my thought. Another good example of repetition is when you deliberately use one and the same word because you want the person to remember that word specifically and not any other word. You don't want the reader to confuse your ideas with another word. It can be any word. It can be the word care, it can be the word friend, it can be the word chair. And you can say, I care about my team because I care about making people happy, and I care about structuring the message in such a way so that everybody gets it, simply because I care.
I care. I care a lot.
And the person who says that stands out among those people who don't care. This is the message a person is trying to get across, that he differentiates himself or she differentiates herself from those people who don't care by saying, I care. So just giving you examples of how this can sound, not only in your writing, but when you actually hear someone say it, now you hear me say it. Be very careful with your writing, pay attention to how you write, pay attention to the words you use, and as soon as you notice that you overuse this or that word, go and check the synonyms.